Chapter 10, The Wonderful Power Within Us. You can do everything you've ever dreamed or imagined you could do if you could utilize all the power within you. This may seem impossible to some. I was at a theater where a hypnotist was before me when I first heard the above thought expressed. The hypnotist saw a man that showed he doubted him. The hypnotist said, "My friend, I see you doubt what I have just said." "Well, I do," said the man. "My friend, I am going to prove that I can do the impossible. You see the young man sitting beside you. Do you think it would be possible for me to take him and put his head on one chair and his feet on another, and then have 5 men stand on his stomach?" "No, sir, that would be impossible, as he is nothing but a frail youth." The hypnotist said, "All right, you consider this impossible, do you not?" "Yes, sir," was the answer. The hypnotist asked the young man to step up on the stage. He hypnotized him, placed his head on one chair, his feet on another. He asked 6 good-sized men from the audience to stand on the man, which they did without any harm to the young man. This only shows it would be possible for you if you could just think you could do it. While under the influence of hypnotism, the subject loses control of his mental powers. The hypnotist gains control and can make the subject do anything that he makes a strong mental picture of. If this young man could support 6 men while under the influence of hypnotism, he could do it in his natural state if he could just think he could do it. You might search the whole world and could find not a strong man that could equal this feat of the youth. So where did the power come from? The hypnotist could not have conveyed this power to him. He must have had it in him. This was just what he did. The hypnotist just made him use it. This example is given to show you that you have wonderful latent power, and if you can only learn to use them, you will be able to do some wonderful things. We all have a great wealth of power within us. It only takes some emergency to bring it out. There have been cases where invalids of years have gotten up and walked out when the house caught on fire, and they knew there was no one near them to help. They have escaped in such a way that it would seem only the strongest of men could have done. How could they suddenly possess this power? It shows that we have wonderful power within us if we could only command it. You have powers within, which if you could discover and use would make you everything you ever hoped or desired to be. The control of our mental forces. In time to come, we will have fewer physical doctors and more mental doctors. We know that by driving away pessimistic, bitter, and angry thoughts, we can avoid sickness and misfortune to a great extent. We will realize that by cultivating a kinder and happier frame of mind, it will bring us health and good luck. The time will come when a mental doctor will be able to analyze a person's character and tell what thoughts are discordant and vicious and injuring his personality. We hear people talking of their fate. The weak ones are controlled by the forces, the strong ones control the forces. Things have just the power over us that we permit them. When you are unhappy, distressed, blue, and worried, it is mental poison only. You should be able to relieve it by a mental process. In former ages, we were not advanced far enough to understand the philosophy of loving our enemies, but now we can understand it. If we hate them, we are the sufferers. If we love them, we are the beneficiaries. By changing hatred thoughts to love, we make a friend instead of an enemy. Love cannot make an enemy. An enemy can do us a lot of harm. We are the gainers, you see. It is a scientific fact that what qualities we try to see in another we find. If we are looking for the noble, clean, and true qualities, those come to meet our own, providing we have them. But if we show our bad qualities, we will likely draw out theirs. If we are mean, jealous, and envious, displaying brute side, these are the traits we see in others. Thoughts crystallize into actual things. What we feel in our heart, harbor in our mind, think about, dream about, will in time develop from these teeny seeds into full growth. Hating someone will not develop your love qualities. A revenge seed cannot bring you anything but trouble. If we want to have friends, we must be friendly. If we want love, we must have love. Whatever you send to another draws out of them the same kind of qualities. There is a law that regulates thought, which works out just as true as any other law. In India, the developed yogis say, "If a man purposely does me wrong, I will return him my ungrudgingly love. The more evil comes from him, the more good shall come from me." The developed person of the coming day will understand how injurious are discordant thoughts, and will no more think of letting them into his mind than he would taking some deadly poison. Your present character is the result of the life you have lived. An adept at character reading does not have to inquire of your past history to unmask your real traits. He is able to read at a glance your thoughts and desires. When we see a face that is all tired and sour, you can tell the owner of the face never thought of beauty and joy, but instead lived a selfish and vicious life. When we see a face that shows a pleasant and agreeable disposition, we know that person has lived an unselfish and harmonious life. We hear people say, "Isn't he or she lucky? They never had any troubles in their lives." It may seem that way, but the reason is that they have not let every little thing disturb their equanimity. They have lived a sweet life. Their nature is harmonious, and therefore they are not discordant. They never speak anything but good of others, and in turn no one speaks anything but good of them. They do not make enemies, and therefore they do not have others storing up trouble for them. Those that envy them are probably crabbed, ugly, and cross in disposition. They are continually misunderstanding others and being misunderstood themselves. Their lives are discordant, and they attract everything discordant. It is impossible to harbor secret hatreds, jealousies, grudges, and always be looking for revenge without hurting your own self. These kind of people wonder why no one cares for them, why they are unpopular, why their company is never wanted. They never think the cause lies in themselves. Their revengeful and ugly radiation kill their magnetism. If you want to be magnetic and popular, you must radiate kindly, helpful, sympathetic, and loving thoughts, and feel friendly towards everyone. Let there be no room in your makeup for bitterness, hatred, or envy. Never try to get something that does not belong to you, that you have no right to. The coming man will realize that discordant thoughts and taking advantage of another can cause nothing but injury and no lasting benefit. He will thoroughly realize that the law adjusts everything, that it does not pay to try to cheat justice, equity, honesty, and it does not pay to be unselfish. He will do the right thing because it will bring him just deserts, joy, peace, and prosperity. We learn the meaning of the golden rule more each year. The time will come when we will think only of doing the right thing instead of wrong.